Hello everyone, my name is Dhananjay Reddy Manne. I am part of Informatica Global Customer Support team. In this presentation, we will be going through how to create metadata access service in data engineering integration. Moving on, today's agenda is what is metadata access service, metadata access service architecture, what is mas.config file and developer client, how to create metadata access service demo. Moving on, what is metadata access service? Metadata access service is an application service that allows developer tool to access Hadoop environment to import and review metadata. When you import an object from the Hadoop cluster, the following adapters use metadata access service to extract the object metadata at the design time. 4 actions for HBase, 4 actions for HDFS, 4 actions for Hive, 4 actions for MapRDB. Moving on, metadata access service architecture. The metadata access service uses HTTP and HTTPS to communicate with Hadoop clusters and the developer tool that sends metadata access requests. The following image shows how metadata access service components complete job requests. First, the developer client will send the request like to import metadata request to the metadata access service. The metadata access service will get the required site XMLs and the distribution version from the cluster configuration output. With these details, it will connect to the Hadoop cluster. From the Hadoop cluster, it will fetch the required metadata and give it back to the developer client, and developer client stores it in the model repository service. Note, unless tool will not use metadata access service to fetch the metadata from the Hadoop cluster, there the DIS will do the job. Moving on, what is mas.config file in developer client? In this file, we have the list of connectors for which we will be used to do the test connection and import the objects into the developer client using metadata access service. The file is present under info home client developer client mas.config file. This is the sample screenshot of that file, which has the which all connectors it will use the MAS service. Moving on, how to create metadata access service. We can create it from admin console or using infocmd MAS create service command. Moving on, let me log into the admin console and create a MAS service. I have logged into the admin console. Now I need to go on, click on actions, new metadata access service. And we can give any names, test MAS, and we need to select the license and we need to select the node. If you want to have, you can add any backup nodes if you want it as H enabled, and you need to give the HTTP port. And if you want HTTPS, you can configure. If you want TSL, you can configure. And key store and trust store file pause. By default, it will pick. If you want to give custom files, you can do that. You can click on enable service to make the service up and running. You can check this option for operating system profile and impersonation to use. If you have any OS profiles to import any objects using OS profile, you can check this option. Here, like if it is a Kerberos enabled cluster which you are connecting, you can give the service principal name, key tab information, and you can check this option to use the logged in user as the impersonation user, and you can select the log level like trace, debug, info, warning, error, fatal. Well, and you can click on finish. Once you click on finish, the new metadata access service will be created. And you can also create the MAS using the infocmd MAS create service command. Here also you need to pass the same information like what is HTTP port and all those things. You can go through this document for more details. The metadata access service didn't came up as the 7080 port is already using by another metadata access service. So we can change the port here to make it come up. Let me change the port. Let me give some other port like 8562. Click on OK and we can recycle the service. And it is enabling the service. As you can see, the metadata access service came up. Moving back to the presentation. You can go through these below documents for more details. We would like to hear from you on our social media handlers. Please give us your valuable feedback over there. Thank you all.